Hello, my friends. Oh, I can't wait for you to hear Angie Roullier today, the author of Pot for the People and Cannabis Goddess Extraordinaire. She's up here in my neck of the woods, and boy did we get our gab on. Our chat grabs us by the bonds of the sisterhood of women and weed, and we get down into the nitty-gritty of today's world of cannabis. You'll hear us type the dispensary customers by the musical hour of the day. A little Dean Martin for the elders there first thing in the morning, before traffic gets bad from the school buses in the afternoon, don't you know? You get the idea. After that, the white-collar bunch trots in, just before the late afternoon hippies come hobbling by, after which the blue-collar guys drag in, whose poor bodies are spent from hard labor, and finally, the partiers. Woohoo! That would be late at night. Hey, we're having some fun today, and both of us talk about our favorite hemp stores by name and why. Turns out, they're our Michigan Medical Cannabis Program, or at least what the real medical marijuana program in Michigan ought to look like. We get into all that as well, so come on in for some hell-raising right after the intro. Welcome to Season 5 of the Cannabivarum Podcast, the Cannabis Truth Podcast. I speak the language of cannabis freely and uncensored while educating my audience on safe use of this live plant therapy. You should know what's in your cannabis, what's good, and what's not. It does not come with an FDA stamp of approval yet. Using cannabis mindfully as medication is a different concept than Western healthcare philosophy, specifically of the past 100 years. There's a lot to learn and reconsider. The information you'll find here comes straight from scientists and clinicians doing the work and reporting their findings in real time through various live online outlets. The scientific truth of cannabis is finally getting out and is wide open for all to see at the respected medical sites like PubMed.gov and JAMA, the Journal of American Medical Association. And I'm right there in the thick of it with all those titans of medicine as a fly on the wall, because I'm not a doctor, nor did I go to med school, but I did take dozens of private cannabis courses and still engage in continuing education offered by cannabis expert scientists over the past few years, and slowly began to see and understand the bigger picture. Now I talk to people all day long about cannabis and hopefully inspire them to research the facts as we know them today. Cannabis is an amazing alternative in health remedies. It can reportedly alleviate typical disease problems and troubling side effects, even those caused by synthetic prescriptions. This is Honey Smith Walls, a 21st century cannabis shaman, not a doctor, not a scientist, raised by nuns and wolves in the verdant cattle pastures of the Oklahoma oil fields. I'm here to amplify the truth of this great big story of cannabis in historical, political, scientific, and even spiritual terms, so you can make educated decisions about the medicine you choose to ingest. Gee, do I have you now?
Yes, ma'am. My goodness.
Oh, I'm so glad we've had a hellacious time trying to connect, you and I, and I'm so grateful for your patience.
How are you today?
I'm just wonderful, honey. I'm sitting outside on my back porch for this glorious afternoon, just surrounded by yellows and the colors of fire and corals and blues and ferns, just really glorious spring. About 15 pretty little pot plants growing in front of me.
Beautiful. That's where it's at, honey. Grow your own.
No kidding. I've never been able to before. I was down in Florida, but now that I'm a proud and loud Michigander like you. We'll talk to our audience about who you are, Angie.
Again, I am a loud, proud Michigander. I have been in the Michigan medical cannabis arena for over 13 years now. Starting at the very bottom, doing paperwork for certification centers, and then onto
Wow.
the dispensaries and bud tending and floor manager, team lead. Moved on to tutoring and a lot of public speaking. Law enforcement, veterans, council members. And then I took it upon myself to write a book and take all 13 years of what I've come across and put it down in layman's terms. And the book is called Pot for the People.
I love it. And I'm so grateful to be in this arena with you, trying to help people understand what our beloved plant can do.
And what
It's
it
an
can't.
amazing, and what it can't do. That's right. There's a lot of stuff it probably wasn't meant to do that people misunderstand totally.
Mm-hmm.
But the whole realm of the cannabis world is here at our feet, ready to relieve if we can just get our idiot legislators out of the way.
Yeah, we really we need the education needs to be almost force fed at this point. You can be
Yeah.
against the plant, but please have an educated opinion about it. I'm not here to try and force it upon anybody, but please understand what you're trying to regulate before you regulate it.
That's it. And gosh, it just seems with a title comes that uh, greedy power thing, and that often just gets in the way too. Sorry, didn't mean to get political. I want to talk about your book and what's in it, and how you decided what to put in it, and your feedback on it. I can't wait to. I haven't ordered it yet, gonna, and can't wait to read it. I just got a really great. Cannabis journal from trusted Cana nurse, Megan Bang.
Nice.
And wowzers, it blew me away. Do you have that sort of thing? Is your book like that? Or tell us about it.
So mine's more of a reference. So it's pretty much evenly split between go-to reference and my stories over the 13 years of how, we used this kind of information. So
Yeah.
I have over 100 and different cited references throughout the book.
Oh my
Um,
goodness.
so it is fully vetted. It is fully researched. And that's one of the things I really impress upon people when they do their own research is please consider the source.
Right.
Please don't get your medical information from Reddit.
Right.
You know,
Right.
please, Stanford, Mayo Clinic, John Hopkins. I mean, all of these things. Please consider your sources. So when I went to go write this down, because I was in the retail side for the bulk of my career to this point,
Hmm.
it's really important to educate these bud tenders. So
Oh my God, I know.
I wanted to put in just an easy layman's, you can flip to this page and it'll show you the do's and don'ts of THC. Or, like
Ooh.
your favorite, BCP, what
Yeah.
does that do? What doesn't it do? And where else can you find it in nature? So it's almost a
Right.
flip book. And when I do take it to the pot shops, I'm like, keep one of these at the register. So if somebody does come in and asks about CBC, they don't have to stand there looking like an idiot. They can grab the book, they can flip to whatever page it is and go, okay, well, right here, it says, these are the pluses, these are the minuses. And then
Yes.
to, the patient and the consumer
Hmm.
with the bud tender can make those decisions as they stand right there, whether it's going to work for that person or not.
So, how do you feel about putting Farm D in every dispensary, theoretically?
Well, and I'm a little torn because most of them that they don't know the subject matter well enough. I have come across, bud tenders, myself was, one of them that knows a lot more than, most of these medical professionals do. And a lot of it's not their fault. I mean, it's not taught in medical school. It's something that they've been taught to be feared and just to avoid it due to liability issues. So that's understandable. But then again, they really got to take it upon themselves to self-educate if they really do want to help people with this plan.
And there, I, I, I'm just gobsmacked, really, at the lack of education, but it's all been stunted, of course, because of Schedule 3 and all that blah 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 blah, all that, and so as soon as all of that is lifted, and then it seems like doctors and nurses are going to have to get on board because elders in nursing homes need it, people in hospitals need it, people on polypharmacy need it.
Mm-hmm.
People need it for a new house or a new airplane.
Right.
They
No,
need it
I
to
know.
filtrate their water.
Yeah, I actually had a conversation with my doctor last week about it. And I'm like, listen, they're about to make it a Schedule 3 drug, and that's right in there with the steroids that you keep trying to shove down my throat,
Right.
and gabapentin, which is another quick go-to for most doctors.
Yeah.
And the look on his face was like, are you kidding me right now? I'm like, you have no choice at this point. You have to educate yourself. If you're going to stick it right next to those cortisone shots that you're so happy to give people, you have to know that, with cannabis becoming a Schedule 3 drug, you're going to have to know something about it.
Did you give him your book?
So I have an appointment next week, and I actually want to go into dog here, a couple of sections that I really think that he needs to focus on. Because like I said, I mean, it is a lot.
Yep.
There's a mix of, the actual science and the stories. So I don't want him getting lost in, my cannabis counter pissing and moaning, and lose the point. So yeah, I definitely want to go in and, mark a couple of pages and be like, look, these are the drug interactions, dog ear that page.
Yeah.
These are the cannabinoids and terpenes, that kind of thing. Just liver conversion of THC, just the very, very basic
stuff.
Yeah.
I know. I have to ask every nurse that gets, to prick me for blood what they know about the ECS. It's always the same answer. The what?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Yeah. Bupkis.
Right.
Yeah.
So, it's always, I try to give them a little opportunity to, get curious and educate themselves and be leaders of this information is what I tell them, because, obviously the rest of their team and office don't know anything about it either.
No, they don't. And you got to drop these knowledge bombs every opportunity that you get, regardless of their reaction to it. Because I've had plenty of neurologists turn their nose up, roll their eyes, do all of those things. And I mean, I'll print out research and I'll literally leave it in their lobby.
But we're cannabis warriors at this point because of the, pardon my French, fucking stupidity that they keep, exhibiting. They just are so pig-headed about this information.
Yeah, I don't know why they're fighting it tooth and nail. I mean, I've had doctors tell me, magnesium. Yeah, absolutely. Magnesium is great for you and muscle spasms and things like that, but they're not so quick to do it with cannabis. And I don't understand, like you said, it's that wall that they hit. Right. They're like toddlers stomping their feet. I refuse.
Yeah. Hands over ears. Don't bother me with the facts. I already know what I believe.
Exactly. I know what I know, and there's nothing else to know.
Yeah. Yeah, so we've got a pretty obstinate wall of, defiance in front of us. But honest to goodness, the information just truly keeps mounting in favor of cannabis for so much relief.
Yeah, and it does have so much potential.
It does. It really does. What else are you working on? I mean, I love your whole political voice. Sorry, I just had a little brain bubble there going on. Love your political voice. Love your attitude, because I'm tired of pussyfooting around, folks. And God, I just watched again, trusted Canaan nurse Megan Bang in a conference the other day with a woman who just was so adamantly against cannabis because of whatever experiences she'd had.
Right.
And Megan was just handled it beautifully. I felt like she was gentle with the woman and nurtured her sense of in courage, to help her gain some courage just to look into the
Yeah.
facts of it. It's slow baby steps. They're not ready even for the ECS,
Oh gosh, no. Oh no, no.
They're not ready for terpenes.
No, that's why I put it in very layman's terms. And people like Megan, I mean, they've got true skills to
Oh
stand in
yeah.
front of somebody who is trying to just tear what you believe to shreds
Yeah.
and still deal with them in an empathetic and compassionate way. So absolutely hats off to Megan for everything that she does. And as they come at you, and I've found, because working in retail and people can be just downright nasty, people get extremely defensive when they feel stupid. And
Well,
they get
yeah.
and they get loud about their insecurities and things like that. So, I mean, as long as it doesn't cross the line of, being
Well,
personally hurtful, you can kind of there and you stand there and take it on the chin, wait for them to get it all off of their chest. And then, start with the baby step questions of, okay, why are you so gung ho against this? Or, even if you're against it, who are you to take away my choice to use it? Um,
yeah. Wow.
Hello, my friends. You may have heard me express frustration on my show about the lack of reliable cannabis guidance in Michigan. Dispensaries prioritize profits over patient care, leaving many without the necessary information for effective relief. The Michigan Medical Marijuana Program, once thriving, saw a significant decrease in patients post adult use legalization. Due to insufficient knowledge and high costs of registration, patients lacked access to credible sources and struggled with product effectiveness. Excitingly, though, I discovered a solution at Mother Earth Natural Hemp Store, a local CBD hemp shop in the Detroit metro area. Their knowledgeable staff offers genuine cannabis assistance and a range of quality lab-tested products. The Trust Mother Earth program ensures high standards for every single item on their shelves. For those seeking authentic cannabis support in Michigan, look no further than Mother Earth Natural Health Store for reliable guidance and relief. Stop into one of the 4 locations around Metro Detroit for a one-on-one experience with real CBD experts. They're in Shelby Township, where I live, Royal Oak, New Haven, and Chesterfield, Michigan. With over 475 products and, more importantly, over 100 doctors' recommendations to them. Bypass cannabis overwhelm and go straight to Mother Earth Natural Health hemp stores to begin your journey as an informed cannabis patient, inspired to feel better through plant therapy.
What does your normal day-to-day look like?
well, they're not normal. I mean, we're in the cannabis industry.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. So, basically blessed enough to be, working from home. But it's conversations like these. I've done a couple of book fairs. I am actually working on getting in touch with those in my local community. I live in a what we call a dry county as far as cannabis goes. They against it. I'm in Livingston County. So it is actually, there's been a couple of articles put out about how people want it put on the ballot.
Uh-huh.
And the county's pretty much like, yeah, we're not even going to hear it. Even if you get the votes, even if you put it on the ballot. And, again, my head starts to explode. I'm like, well, that's not really what,
Your job is.
it's not, and it's just, it's that argument. And because I live in such a red stifled county, you know, and it's like, so guns and alcohol are okay.
It's that nationalist attitude that frightens me
Yeah, it is.
because it's pig-headed, it's belligerent, and it's a bully.
And it's back to, who are you to make those decisions for me?
That's right.
If I'm
And
back here
and
fighting
it's
my
a real fuck you attitude about our society, and trying to create legislation so that people will be safe
yeah, and it's
in
hypocritical.
our society
It's
and cared for.
absolutely, and it's completely hypocritical because here, you know, they're fighting, you know, for gun rights, which I am all for. They're, you know, fighting for our freedoms and, you know, our constitutional rights. But yet, if they don't agree with it, they're going to attack my choices. And I'm like, well,
Hmm.
isn't this about my freedom to choose? A,
And what about, yeah, hello, abortion?
right,
What the hell is going
get
on?
off my
We've
uterus.
done this. Jesus, get out of my pussy.
Get off my uterus. I know.
Honestly.
I know. So it's just, yeah. So it's a little frustrating, and it does have to be addressed. And you know, you meet you know, a lot of animosity and, you know, things of that nature. But we just got to keep pushing, and as long as we do it in a calm and educated manner, they really don't have much ground to stand on. I mean, they can
Right.
do all kinds of bullshit and all kinds of derogatory,
But they'll be thinking about it later.
but absolutely, as long as you don't get wrapped up in the screaming and the shouting
Or riled
and
up. Yeah.
calling and, you know, things like that, which is absolutely easier said than done. And one of the reasons I do smoke weed.
Yeah, mama. Damn straight. Me too. Yeah, it was literally trying to get rid of the anxiety
Yeah.
that I took weed back up after. Well, my husband and I used to sail, and when we were on the boat, you know, you just couldn't carry anything with you
No.
because we got boarded several times. We lived aboard for 5 years, so
Wow.
you know, we just we're always conscious of not having anything harder than an aspirin or a, you know, flare gun
For sure.
aboard. But damn, I was good with a flare gun.
I bet. Good to know. I'm going to put that little
I
tidbit in
could,
my pocket. Yeah.
yeah, I could hit a belly button with a flare gun.
That's fantastic.
So yeah, coming up here to Michigan after being in a medicinal state only was a shock.
Yeah.
Just a frickin' shock.
It's a circus.
And you, madam, are the only medicinal connection I've got, except for one store about 20 minutes down the road from me that's a CBD store called Mother Earth. I just want to plug them whenever I can
Oh, for sure.
because they care about their patient clientele and hold their hands and educate them about what they're selling. And they sell one-to-one stuff in there,
That
which
is beautiful, because that,
surprised the hell out of me, but there it is.
yeah, that's what I grow at home. That's my absolute favorite. It gets the job done. It's, you know, it's all the beautiful things that I believe that cannabis should be. And I actually have a favorite hemp store, which I'm going to plug. It's the Craft Hemp Company up in Midland, and they give a shit. You know,
that's it. They care about us.
they really do. And I love this company because they tailor make tinctures as you stand there.
And guess where you cannot get a tincture?
Yeah.
At a dispensary
Yeah.
in Michigan.
Well, they
don't.
Yeah, they started screwing around with it, saying that they can no longer be MCT oil based, that they have to be, as per the definition of our dusty ass old pharmacopoeia,
Yep.
of alcohol.
Alcohol based, right.
So what about all of these people who give it to their kids, you know, for
Yeah.
ADHD or for autism and stuff like that? Now you got them glugging alcohol.
Yeah.
It's just,
and it's so nasty.
oh, it's
Alcohol base is so nasty.
rude.
It tastes so bad.
And again,
it's rude.
regulating something they know nothing about, because
Right.
I mean, you want the fat and the oil to actually be a carrier.
Yes. Hello, lipid.
Nice.
Oh.
Yeah.
So, oh, there's so much that we already know that is really backed in you know, the fundamental truth of real science, and yet it is so difficult to get the majority of our medical professionals on board with this because of the stigma.
Oh, for sure. I mean, there was a stigma even when we were just medical here in Michigan. And the day
Mhm.
before Michigan went recreational, we had almost 400,000 registered caregivers and patients in the state.
Oh my God.
Today, I think we've got maybe 30,000 if we're lucky. So, but it's not like these people disappeared. Okay. They just didn't stop using cannabis. They just preferred not to be on that list. And
Right.
I think a lot of these retail shops just they don't matter. It doesn't matter to them. You really need to, ask, it's not necessarily what do you want, but the question should be what brings you in.
Right.
If somebody's answer
No,
is a medical answer, well, you should have members of your staff that you can send them to, as opposed to, hey, I'm hitting a bonfire on a Friday night. What's going to get me going? Those are two completely different consumers.
I had an absolute panic meltdown in the last dispensary that I went to, and I talked about it on LinkedIn, and I really don't want to talk about it anymore because
No, let
it was an amazing event that I only ever experienced one other time in my life.
Mhm.
And it was the sensory overload that happened. Anyway, I cannot. I asked them if they had somebody who could speak to me about their medical products.
Mhm.
I handed them my medical card first, which I proudly got as a proud and loud Michigander. I got my F-150 and I got my med card
Welcome.
all in the same week, right? And so, but they gave me the first 12-year-old bud tender that they had.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I know. Yeah, my husband complains about it all the time because he'll go in and it's, how high do you want to get? This stuff is fire, and it's like maybe,
Yeah.
maybe ask again. Like I said, what brings
And
you?
try some pink pussy over here.
Good
How you like that in the
Lord.
bright, shiny pink Mylar package
I know.
with bling attached to it? You can get bling.
Well, and those, I mean, and even myself, and I used to run floors of these places, and it is overwhelming, and it's loud, and it's hot, and it's, I mean, and even as somebody who worked 6 days a week doing it
I can't
is
imagine.
extremely overwhelming. And I gotta say, I am not a big fan of the cattle corral that went.
Whose philosophy is that? You've been back in the behind the magic doors. Whose philosophy is it to have, bombastic music so that all the bud tenders have to shout at the
Oh,
customers?
it's a party, don't you know, honey? It's,
Oh, is that what the idea is?
it's
Have do they not have grandparents?
Well, apparently not. And actually, the last shop that I had worked at, we would actually change the mood depending on the time of day. So, like when we
Yeah.
first opened up, it was a
Mhm.
lot of Dean Martin. It was a
Yeah.
lot of
For the elders who would come in early in the morning to get their
exactly.
Yep.
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 And then we would move it, over to, maybe a little fog hat,
Right?
maybe a little
Right?
plastic wrap.
Now the hippie clan is coming in,
Right.
right? Who aren't working anymore. Right?
Exactly. And then, the last hour or so,
Yeah,
I mean,
those are the blue collar guys that are man, they need some relief after working so hard all fucking day long.
well, and the younger ones that were, on their way out to party, and
And then and then there's the party group.
yeah.
Yeah.
But you do have to recognize your audience. You know what I mean? And again, with those corrals during the day, I mean, you're getting stuck in that, cow corral.
Yeah.
Waiting for your turn to go up, and I'm standing there with a cane, and I'm looking around, and I'm like, "Where's the chair?"
Exactly.
If somebody's got to sit,
They
know
don't
what I mean? It's just, ugh.
that's infuriating to me. I don't have much stamina
No,
for standing around.
no. Mm-mm.
And it's very uncomfortable when I've got other issues going on.
Mhm.
So they don't treat, they've got customers, not patients.
Yeah. Yeah, no, for sure. They are absolutely customers. And even myself, like I said, I've worked in these places, for a decade. And even now, I'm hesitant to go into places. Even my favorite ones, I order it and have it delivered to my door, just so I don't have to deal with the parking and, like you said, the thumping music and the,
Right.
being corralled like a cow. And
Right.
you know,
But think about all those elders who aren't that savvy and don't want to give their credit card,
yeah,
across the airwaves,
yeah,
as they would think of it.
no, for
And, and they need some hand holding. Which one do I get? Pink pussy again? Oh, no.
yeah, the names have got to stop. I saw one this week.
It's got to stop.
It was called placenta. I'm like,
Stop
I
it.
swear, I'm like, that is the most disgusting.
Oh my God in heaven. What are those assholes thinking? Why are they so fucking hateful and sexist to women?
It's just, and some of the
It's
packaging.
so rude.
I've seen some packaging come across my feed, and I'm like, are you
So
kidding me?
disrespectful to women.
It's just,
It's
it's out
awful.
of control.
It's out of control. Yeah. The whole sativa indica thing is so stupid. And
It's
I'm just,
wrong,
no.
I know, and I try, and that's one thing that really frustrates me on a platform like LinkedIn is you'll get somebody extremely educated with really big
Yeah.
initials after their name, and they'll go on and on about
Yeah.
receptors and terpenes,
Yeah.
cannabinoids, and then they end their post with the best strain for a migraine is, and I'm like,
Oh my God. Doesn't it blow you away?
now you've
What are they
lost me.
thinking?
You have now lost me because you cannot
Totally.
purple punch
You have no credibility now.
when you could take 3 different grams of purple punch from 3 different locations and all of their profiles are going to be different. So
How about from 3 different parts of the Purple Punch plant?
well, and that's exactly right. So teaching people that, what strain is good for this is the absolute, just the wrong thing. And it's another fight, and it is.
It's another fight. It's there are levels. Peel the onion.
Yeah.
Pardon me. I'm
Yeah.
sucking in on a little cannabis myself and had a mouthful of smoke, but peel the onion and you will find many
the entire
layers.
time you peel, but
Yeah.
it's got to
Yeah.
be peeled.
Well, honey, I'm so thrilled to finally catch up with you. I don't make promises very damned often, but this one I'm going to say out loud, and I want you to know that I'd like to come out to your place and see you and visit and have some tea and a puff and plan some stuff together and meet at events and hook up and stay in touch and become best buddies up here.
That would be fantastic, honey. I'd like nothing more.
Okay, great. Well, I want to thank you so much for gracing us this afternoon. Will you tell the audience, please, how to get in touch with buying the book and how to get in touch with you if you'd like that?
No, absolutely. So I am at potforthepeople.co. There's plenty of research, where to buy my book, everywhere from the necessary evil of Amazon all the way down to independent bookstores. I'm literally just slinging it to the 4 winds, and
Right.
it's about getting the education out there and, just doing the best I can to help as many people as I can with it. And please don't hesitate. I am always up for a cannabis conversation.
So cool. I love you so much and what you're doing and what you mean to this world. You're an important goddess of this planet. You get me?
Sweet talker.
You better believe it, Mama. Hey, we'll hook up real soon, okay? I'll hit you on the real telephone and make a plan for something, okay?
All right, sounds great, honey.
Thank you, dear heart. It's just been wonderful. I appreciate you so much.
You too. I hope the day is kind to you.
Friends, I'm just stunned to realize how difficult it is to find trustworthy, high-quality CBD products that are full spectrum and whole plant, with all the natural compounds extracted from the plant for you to consume, as nature provided. They don't carry it in the shops where I go to find my cannabis products. They push their own isolate brands, and that's just not good enough for me. It doesn't have all the compounds. I've heard a lot of complaints about how to find consistent over-the-counter CBD products, and I have a solution. I became an affiliate partner with Healer Hemp Products. Dr. Dustin Sulak, a doctor of osteopath, who created this line, is truly one of the great leaders in cannabis therapy. giving his patients relief from their issues for many years with his Healer CBD products that can be shipped to all 50 states. I use his acidic version of cannabidiol, or CBD-A. It has everything plus a lot more of the compound, which Dr. Sulak and other leaders in this industry have found to be more potent, thereby using less, which ends up making a big difference to your wallet. But it also adds many benefits to your body. Start lifting your quality of life with Healer CBD products today. And check out that sweet discount just waiting for you in the link below. You've been listening to another Cannabivarum podcast, the Cannabis Truth Podcast, with 21st century cannabis shaman Honey Smith Walls. That's me. About the importance of using verifiably safe products, the process of getting a diagnosis from your family doctor and taking your records to a cannabis specialist can lead you to the correct cannabinoid therapy for those issues. Otherwise, you're just your own guinea pig, looking for answers without any foundational knowledge or ability to determine the best choices or strategies. To find a qualified cannabis expert in your area, visit cannabisclinicians.org. It is a national society of cannabis experts, and you'll see that link down in my show notes. Unless otherwise proven by a reputable third-party lab test, please be advised that all street weed is contaminated. It may do grave harm to a patient with a delicate immune system who already has inflammatory issues like arthritis or IBS, fibromyalgia, or worse. Subscribe to the Cannabivarum podcast so you get automatically updated episodes, and tell your friends and family to tune in for current cannabis information. Thank you so much for joining this worldwide conversation about the real value of cannabis. We'll see you next week. For now, I'm pretty sure the cows are calling.